Are you thinking about making a move to Hampstead, North Carolina? Are you on the internet looking for the good and the bad of the area? In this video, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of Hampstead, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Lexi Wyer.
And I'm Jake Wyer. And in this video, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of Hampstead, North Carolina. We're going to go ahead and start with the pros. We're going to work our way all the way to the cons. We're going to discuss the good, the bad, the ugly.
And everything in between.
So you're going to want to stay till the very end of this video because we're going to discuss the cons last, and let's be honest.
Some of them are kind of bad.
So stay till the end. You're going to want to hear those. If this video is good and you like it and it's helpful to you, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. It helps us immensely. Hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for information about Hampstead, Wilmington area, go ahead and check out our channel. We have over 100 videos about the area. It's all we discuss is Hampstead, Wilmington, and the surrounding areas. So let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons of Hampstead, North Carolina. Let's start with number one pro. What would you say the number one pro is in your mind?
Okay, well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold that thought for just a second.
Okay.
So today is December 1st, 2022.
Yes.
So we've actually created this video before in the past, and it's completely outdated now.
It's about 3 years old.
Yeah, so some things are similar still. Some of the cons have gotten significantly worse. But just to throw that out there, it is December 1st, 2022. So if you have any questions about those past videos or you need anything cleared up, please reach out at any time because the market has shifted and things have changed.
And that's why we want to bring you this updated Hampstead video, because we have gotten a lot of comments recently about how outdated that video is. So we're redoing the video.
So what's your favorite thing about Hampstead, North Carolina?
I mean, my favorite thing about Hampstead is the fact that it's on the coast.
Yes, absolutely.
Most of Wilmington is coastal, but you can be 30 minutes, 40 minutes from the coast in certain areas. Mm-hmm. So I think I would say that's probably the number one draw for a lot of folks picking Hampstead is the fact that it's directly on the coast. It has 38 miles directly on the intercoastal. So tons of boating activity, tons of water activities, if that's what you're into. And a lot of people that move to the area are really trying to be coastal. So I think it's a lot of our clients.
Yes, so there are tons of coastal communities with water access, boat ramps, deeded water access. Mm-hmm. So if boating is your thing, this area might be a really great fit for you.
Absolutely. It's right there on the coast. So
also, if you love seafood.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're right on the coast. It actually is an amazing seafood provider here. You kind of get a little bit spoiled, I guess. Yeah, sure. The shellfish here is amazing and very inexpensive. So direct, fresh seafood. So that being said, let's go and move on to the next pro. I would say the next pro would probably be the school system here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, that's definitely one of the main draws that bring people to this area, I would say.
The Topsail School District. If you look up on any of the rating systems, and I'll let you guys go and do that because it does fluctuate somewhat, it's going to be in the upper nines, mid nines. So that being said, in this area, it's really hard to find an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school that all rate really high, and Topsail does that.
Yes.
So I would say the school system is huge for people that have families here, but also for people that are really interested in keeping their property value up.
Yeah, being in a great school district is always a selling point. And
it insulates you a little bit from the fluctuations in the market. So everybody's always looking for a good school district.
And if school districts are important for you, maybe you do have a family with children, another great thing about this area is there are a lot of new developments. So you are getting some of the newer features, less like, 1990 trends, early 2000 trends like you might see in Wilmington. We're seeing bigger closets, more open floor plans, things of that nature.
Less honey-colored oak. Yeah, that's always a big thing that people say to me.
Updated colors, things like that. So you definitely have access to a lot of brand new residential communities, a little bit larger square footage for the money, and lot sizes tend to be a little bit larger in this area as well.
Yeah, a little more bang for your buck in Hampstead versus Wilmington. A lot newer housing stock in Hampstead versus Wilmington.
For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, that's generally speaking.
Right.
So if you're looking for a bigger house and a bigger lot for a little bit less money and a little bit newer, then Hampstead might be definitely worth a shot to look at.
Yeah.
So that being said, It's growing like crazy. We keep bringing that up, which means you keep bringing up the fact that it's a little bit smaller than Wilmington as well. So there's a lot more open space in Hampstead still, a lot more mature forest land, I guess. So they do have a holly shelter game land here in Hampstead, which is a huge amount of acreage that you can hunt on. You can 4x, go hiking. If you're a big mountain biker, a lot of people do that in that area as well.
Well, there's no mountains here.
We are in the
I'm
lowlands.
from a mountain area. There's no mountains here.
We have this conversation all the time.
All the time.
We are in the lowlands, so if you have a hill, it's very impressive here. But
it's great for outdoor recreational use. A lot of people really like the area.
Still counts as hiking, even though there's not a mountain. But
yeah, hiking isn't flat.
That's a discussion. That's a discussion for another time. So that being said, there's also a lot of other open areas in the area. There's Kiwanis Park. If your kids are into like recreational sports, they have lots of fields over there as well as playgrounds.
With different leagues, so they do like football, soccer. There's also martial arts in the area, dance studios. I mean, there's a little bit of everything in this area, but I would say if your kids are into more competitive leagues, then you might be looking at Wilmington, traveling to Wilmington for those.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about that. We keep bringing Wilmington to this, and the reason why we do that is because Hampstead's much smaller. It's still really what I would consider a bedroom community of Wilmington. It doesn't really have its own true downtown, things like that. So you will be driving into Wilmington for quite a bit of stuff, really. So the distance to Wilmington, I would say, is definitely a pro for Hampstead.
I would say that's all perspective. We come from larger cities.
Right, true.
So, I mean, we don't feel like it's very far, but 20, 25-minute drive, and you can pretty much access anything that you need, whether that is competitive sports for your kids, shopping, your Target, shopping malls, Sam's Club, Costco, Trader Joe's, all that kind of thing.
And the historical Wilmington downtown.
Right, where there's tons of really, really great restaurants. You maybe want to go out for a date night, things like that. It's really not that far.
Yeah, so close distance. All right, so you guys have waited this long. We really appreciate that. We're going to go and get into the cons.
Yes.
Okay, so, and a lot of these cons really are very similar to our previous video. The pros, I feel, have changed a little bit, but the cons, I feel like it might have gotten worse.
It's gotten worse, for sure. Same issues, but they have gotten significantly worse, I would say.
I would agree. Unfortunately, I would agree. So with all the influx of folks that are moving to Hampstead because of the great school system, and it's coastal, and all the things that we said just now, comes a lot of cars, a lot of traffic. And 3 years ago, we said traffic was one of the negatives of the area, and it's only gotten worse. There are plans in place and are currently happening to alleviate some of that traffic. There is going to be a bypass that's going to connect the Mayfair shopping area in Wilmington up to Hampstead, which will alleviate the 17 corridor traffic a bit and also help down Wilmington as far as Market Street and Military Cutoff traffic.
It's also going to be a great thing for people in the western communities of Hampstead,
Interior,
like Rocky Point, Castlehane, Burgot. It's really going to put those areas on the map.
Right, because you're not going to have to travel to the 17 or the 40 to get back to Wilmington. So yeah, that'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the other con. The other con is really, it's still the same as it was 3 years ago. It might have gotten a little bit better, but the lack of retail and restaurants in the area is noticeable. It's bordering ridiculous for what the population is now.
Well, and especially as we talked about all of these new housing developments, there's really not enough like restaurants and retail to support all the people moving in and all the houses that have been built.
Yeah. So I don't want to paint a picture that you have to drive to Wilmington for everything, but for major shopping like shoes, clothes, things like that, you probably will go to Wilmington for those things. That's where your Costco's and everything are as well. But there are grocery stores in Hampstead. There's gyms in Hampstead.
There's medical clinics, dentist office. So there's still, there's still the necessities, but it's just on at a smaller scale. Yeah,
so no big box retail up here, and no malls really up here to speak of. Now that is changing also because we are starting to see, there are plans right now anyways for larger big box retail to be put in place. It's in the works. It's approved. Some of it's even being cleared already.
Yeah, there's tons of land being cleared right now. So
we're probably a couple years away from seeing some big changes as far as that's concerned.
So when we redo this video in a couple years, hopefully it's very, very different.
We'll see if that's true or not. But and then also with that also comes the fact that there's not a ton of places to go eat as far as restaurants are concerned. There are some restaurants. You'll pick out your top couple and you'll be using those a lot. And like we said, you'll end up in Wilmington quite a bit.
So we do hear that complaint fairly often that, we're working parents, we need a date night. Well, as everyone who pays for a babysitter knows, time is money. And so that can be a negative too, that you have to drive, 20, 25 minutes to get to your favorite restaurant. And, it's time adding up for the babysitter. Yeah,
so. And that kind of also segues to there's not really much of a nightlife in Hampstead.
There's no nightlife in Hampstead.
There's no nightlife.
Not that we would really know.
True. There's a 24-hour gym, so you can really get the healthy nightlife situation going. So that might be a positive for some of us. But yeah, I would say that the lack of shopping and retail, it like I said, it's a very much a bedroom community still.
Yeah.
So the big negatives are really still the big negatives, and it's kind of a growing area, and the negatives are really have to do with it being a growing area. There's just not retail, and the reason for a lot of that stuff for not having restaurants and retail is because there wasn't access to public sewer, which has changed in the last couple of years. They've been putting that in, which means a lot more restaurants and retail can actually open up, because it's really hard to open a restaurant and run a restaurant off a septic system.
Right, and let's all remember that we have all lost a couple years in COVID.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's probably taken us this long to come out with the updated video.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope this is a good update for you guys. We are active real estate agents. We're the Wyer Group. We are taking on clientele, so if you are looking to make a move to the area,
or if you have any questions regarding the area, I don't know, recommendations about anything, whatever you need, we're a great resource for you. So you can email us, feel free to call, reach out anytime. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So if you are planning a trip down here, give us a call. We'll get you on our schedule. So again, my name is Jake Wyer.
I'm Lexi.
And we appreciate you guys.